Now one of our big interviews of the day, filmmaker Gurinder Chadha joining us. Gurinder, it's always a great pleasure to talk to you and welcome on India Decides at 9. Now, I believe what brings you to Delhi this time is some charity work that you're doing.
Okay, well, Save the Children Fund have this campaign called Everyone, and that's part of the MDG, the Millennium Development Promises, was to reduce infant mortality by the year 2015. And India is still suffering very badly. I mean, 1 in 3 children that are malnourished and die are in India, from around the world. And so they asked me to just come and visit some of their places, see their mobile clinics.
Right, so as you point out, what you're really here to highlight is the fact that infant mortality is still an extremely serious issue, and that's something that India as an emerging economic power should really take more seriously.
The interesting issue that I've learned is it's not just about that there are poor people and we have to dig deep and help them. The issue is much more complex because it's about migrant labor and it's about industrial power. And the fact is that people want to work. They don't necessarily want handouts. The people I met, hardly any of the men were there. The men were all out working. They were drivers, they were in factories, they were laborers. The men were out working and the women were at home. And these were people who want to go out and contribute to society and raise their children and live a decent life where they can have running water and they can feed their children proper food and water and know that half their children are not going to die before the age of 2.
Right, Gurinder, well, moving on, I just have to ask you about your last film now, Exploding Curries, Ghosts, The Search for a Bride. It almost sounds like a spoof on a serial killer.
Well, you'll have to see. It's out on DVD now, and I believe this film will actually become a bit of a cult movie in 5 years' time. You mark my words. I think that you'll find a whole young generation that will see this as being quite an innovative way of looking at our community. But I'm also working on, quite a serious historical epic as well right now. So my next film is going to be sort of looking at independence and Britain and India at the period of 1947. So I'm also very, very, very involved with that right now.
All right, so give me some of the details of that, the next project that you're working on, set in 1947. What exactly does it look at? I'm trying to basically get the plot out of you.
Well, it's literally looking at how the transfer of power happened, how it happened, and why it happened the way it did. And I am looking at it from an international perspective, not just an Indian perspective. And I'm making the film very much as a British Punjabi woman. And so it is that take on our history from that specific position as a British Punjabi woman, and we don't get to rewrite history that often. So this is my chance to rewrite history from my perspective.
All right, Gurinder, have fun rewriting history. I guess the only way we can get the plot out of you is by going and seeing the movie. So I promise to go and do that. Thanks a lot for joining us on India Decides at 9. Thanks a lot. Well, legendary film producer Dr. D. Ramanaidu has been conferred the Dada Saheb Phalke Award for the year 2009.